First of all, Warner Brothers put out this movie, Judas and the Black Messiah. And this movie, even though I titled my video, the Fred Hampton movie, this movie is not about Fred Hampton. It's about what our government did to Fred Hampton. A lot of us get this wrong. Fred Hampton was the chairman of the Chicago, Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. This movie is a depiction of what our government did to take him down. And if you can't understand what the movie is about and what it's not about, then you will not like the movie. Period. But I digress. Okay, so I watched this twice. It's called Judas and the Black Messiah. And it's about the betrayal of Fred Hampton. Now there's been a lot of criticism about this movie, guys, because a lot of people say, oh, the movie's more about this guy, William O'Neill, who is a backstabbing scumbag, who betrayed Fred Hampton. Yeah, it's more about him. It's not enough of it. It's about Fred Hampton and the rise and fall of Fred Hampton and what they, and read Fred Hampton's story. And I will agree with you that it's not as much about Fred Hampton as you may want it to be. It's not as much about Fred Hampton as I want it to be. Here's the thing. Y'all really think Hollywood's gonna make a movie? Allow them to make a movie about Fred Hampton and it be all about Fred Hampton's story? That's what you think, Johnson? People have been trying to tell the Fred Hampton story for a couple decades. And the only way they could get it done is to kind of tell it in a very slick way without jeopardizing Fred Hampton's legacy, but not make it all the focus be on Fred Hampton. Get what I'm saying? Like, if you watch the interviews with Shaka King, the director of the movie, he says exactly that. Hey, we had to find a way to do the story in Hollywood where we could actually get the movie done. And the only way we could get it done is this way. And if it wasn't for the success of Black Panther, we wouldn't even have this movie in this form. So the people that are complaining have a right to complain, but they're expecting more than this Warner Brothers, more than what would be possible. Which you should understand, because part of the reason why we can't have a Fred Hampton movie be 100% about Fred Hampton and the rise and fall of Fred Hampton. First of all, a lot of people ain't gonna go see that shit. You ought to know that, right? I had four amazing black women on this show last week. Probably four of the most amazing black women who should have won awards, and most amazing black women of 2020 on my show, and it got shared, I don't know, maybe 50 times, I don't know. A very small number of times, and the viewership was very low. Because nobody cared that I had intelligent black women on the show. And YouTube looked at the algorithm and said, oh man, your views are down. Your subscribers, they kept sending me notes. Your subscribers show no interest in your video. And it was for black women. So the fact of the matter is, guys, we live in America. America is a microcosm of YouTube. That's what it is. Macro, micro. And they don't care about black issues like you and I care about black issues. They don't care about Fred Hampton like you and I care about Fred Hampton. Now, not saying all white people don't care. Some white people do care. Some white people are concerned. Some white people do want to be educated. Some white people already know more about it than I do. Because there's all types of people, right? But by and large, America's not a country that walks around going, what do black people think? So let's get it right. So you're right to say, hey, man, I'm disappointed that this movie didn't give me everything I wanted to know about Fred Hampton. But you know what I believe? I believe this movie gave you enough. That if you didn't know who Fred Hampton was, you went to go find out more about him. And let's be honest. If you really want to know the life of any person, you're going to need more than an hour and 30 minutes or an hour and 45 minutes. You're going to need like a miniseries at least. You're going to need like a 6-part miniseries to really get into the life of an individual. And even if you did that, there'd be people going, hey, we didn't get enough. Hey, this is not deep enough. Why didn't they go into this? Why didn't they go into that? Because that's the nature of it. That's the nature of who we are. So I thought it was an excellent movie for what it was trying to do, which was whet the appetite, give you some information about Fred Hampton. But more importantly, I like the fact it didn't shy away from who killed Fred Hampton and the manner in which he was killed. Do you understand? They showed that the federal government, the FBI, plotted the demise, set up the demise, and murdered Fred Hampton. You don't think that's huge? You don't think it's huge for a major movie production company to put out a movie making the federal government look horrible? I think that's big, guys. I think that's important. So I thought it was a great movie. I learned some things I didn't know, other things I knew more about. And look, and afterwards, the movie was so good, I went and watched some interviews with Shaka King and Lakeith Stansfield and Daniel Kaluuya, and I learned more about the story. I learned that William O'Neill went on to continue to work with the FBI. And he continued to do very dastardly things, horrible, obscene things, and hurt a lot of good people. And the whole time he did it, he was employed by the federal government. I think it's important for people to realize that the federal government uses these types of tricks, that the FBI does these things. They infiltrate movements and they sabotage them. People always going, why can't we work together? Why can't we work together? I don't know why you keep saying that. According to the FBI, we work together too well. You're just repeating what you heard white supremacists say. And according to the FBI, poor black people and poor white people, black people, and Puerto Ricans, brown people work together too well. So well, they had to kill some people. Yeah, they had to break it up because we worked together too well. It's the opposite. But you have in your mind, it's called trickery, Johnson. You believe the most negative things about yourselves, and the government is believing the opposite. The government says, hey, we got too many charismatic leaders. We got too many people that are willing to speak truth to power. We got too much of that going on. We got to stop it now. We undervalue who we are. We undervalue the impact that we have. People undervalue the impact of this show. This show reaches millions of people. Millions of people watch this show, have watched this show. You undervalue your voice. You could be sitting in the bathroom somewhere in, I don't know where you live at. Let's say you're in Chicago, Illinois. And when you call up on this show, it goes to 4 platforms. And thousands of people get to hear your voice. That's not a small thing. It's not a small thing. Back to this movie. I highly recommend this movie to anyone who wants to learn more about Fred Hampton, about COINTELPRO, about how far our federal government has gone to silence empowering movements, to break up empowerment movements, to cut us down, to stop us from banding together. And that in itself can inspire many people, man. It's inspired me, and I'm an old dog. I'm an OG, Johnson. And I'm still inspired by this movie. So, if you're not inspired by this movie, I'm wondering why. But hey, I guess everything's not for everyone. It's not a perfect movie. There are no perfect movies, Johnson. They don't exist. But I think it's an excellent movie that whets one's appetites significantly enough, sufficiently, that people want to seek out more information. Go find out more about Fred Hampton. Go find out more about the Black Panther Party and dispel some myths about the Black Panther Party as if it was the opposite of the Ku Klux Klan. It dispels those myths. That was accomplished. And look, to me, I think people just expect too much. For me, the fact that it shows and it proves to people, it beats back the myth that the Black Panther Party was the other shoe of the Ku Klux Klan, like it was equal to the Ku Klux Klan. I think that's enough. Like, just that is enough, Johnson. And how the government was intentionally killing black leaders which we already knew, but they showed it a different way. And the last thing before I get off this movie, I got to say this. This movie is not about William O'Neill. It's not about him. It's not about snitches. It's not about what one man did to betray Fred Hampton. I know the title says that. Here's the deal, guys. It's about a federal agency, the FBI, that coerced a man to betray Fred Hampton. He didn't know who Fred Hampton was. He's like many other black men entering the criminal justice system, and they say, hey, you want to help yourself here, buddy? Do you want to help yourself? Hey, I need you to do something for me. And it starts slowly, and at first it got you just, hey, just check out this guy, see what he's talking about, and report back. And then it slowly escalates and escalates. So I thought that was masterfully portrayed, and I think a lot of people are missing the point of that. It's not about one person. If anything, it's about the FBI, to me, and how the lengths that they will go to stop us from working together.
Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't be fooled by corporate media talking heads misleading the people. Get your news and information from an entity that keeps it real. Tim Black. Tim Black is the host of The Tim Black Show. Independent news that leaves you informed, inspired, and sometimes entertained, but always in the know. Go to timblacktv.com and sign up today. The Tim Black Show is news for people who can't stand the news. See you there.